Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining our call today. Several of the things that were mentioned before we started the recording had to do with forgiveness, empathy, compassion, strangers offering unconditional love, children, the relationship that we have with them, mixing fun with everything that we do, including like taking something that maybe has seemed negative and painting it over with some beautiful bright colors. Lost opportunities can create like a resolve. I just was really feeling a lot of energy of this sort of playfulness, happy, joyful, grateful energy around making a mistake or doing something, that in the past maybe would have caused a lot of regret or just long-term sadness or whatever. But I just felt like this really happy, playful energy around starting again, trying something new, doing it differently, playing, adding play to the process or whatever. And so I kind of put that together into a subject that we can focus on today, childlike resilience. And just excited to see what we discover from that. So I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds. We're going to do a private silent meditation on gratitude for childlike resilience. And we'll see what comes up. So 90-second private silent meditation on gratitude for childlike resilience. And just write down whatever your personal inspiration is on this subject, beginning now. All right. The word resolve came to me also with, along with this word resilience, that childlike resilience, I really am giving myself and others permission to try again. And, if there's a mistake or something that, happened that wasn't, that if we did it again, we wouldn't do it that way. There can be a resolve to make a different choice next time. And I just am so grateful for that childlike resilience of children, where if I make a mistake, I think about the choices that I made as a mother, right in the middle of, a situation that was high stress or whatever, and doing something that I maybe regretted, that those children are so resilient. And I'm so grateful that there's room for error, and that children can come back, and I want to have more of that. I also thought about just the play that we bring into everything with children. If I wrote a boo-boo, if a little child falls down and skins her knee, you pick her up and, say, kiss it better, or something like, it's not a big deal. And if we can just have that play in when we have a boo-boo, when we do something that would normally make us cry or, fret over something or whatever, you say, it's okay, just kiss it better, try again, go play. I love that. Who else? Let's see, Colleen and then Robert.
I was thinking about the time that I spent with Tyree last night, actually, at while you were writing down your message, what we were focusing on. I was grateful for one-on-one times with my daughter, because she's got 5 kids, and to get that little bit of time is a real sacrifice for her. And just that, but my main thing was that with me eating so much sugar, my ears get plugged, and I heard brilliance, childlike brilliance, instead of resilience. And it goes together, because I just feel like my oldest daughter is brilliant, and the time that I spend with all of my kids is a wonder, and they make sacrifices to spend time with me, and I'm just so grateful for 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 the resilience and for the brilliance, because I watch them, and they are so eager to, even now, to learn and to just grow and develop. And I'm watching as my oldest granddaughter, Tyree's oldest daughter, is developing some limiting beliefs, and how I can identify them, but I don't feel like I have to step in, because Tyree is just such a good identifier of that, and just really, she takes care of them really well. And I'm recognizing how brilliance goes along with resilience.
Awesome. Thank you. A couple things that I just wanted to point out. I just have so much gratitude for you, Colleen, for not judging yourself for hearing incorrectly. You raised your hand and you wanted to share, and that exhibits childlike resilience. It's like, well, I've got something really great to share anyway, even though I was focused on a different subject. And I also just want to compliment you and Tyree and all of you who are on this gratitude call on a regular basis, how you're raising your children so much differently than I did, because I had no idea what a limiting belief was when I was raising my kids. And I'm just like so grateful that there are resources now that weren't available when I was a kid. And I can go back to my adult children and have conversations, about limiting beliefs and things. But I feel like, you have such a great opportunity right now to encourage that resilience. Instead of just like leaving it to chance that they will be resilient, you can give them tools to help them be so even more. And so thank you for sharing those things that you did, Colleen.
Thank you.
Robert, and then Phil.
Thank you. It's kind of funny, the word resilient, I get irritated actually by it. I get irritated because it's to me, it's misused in the form, maybe because it comes from politicians, becomes irritating in the sense that a tornado will go through a town, and it's like, the people of Oklahoma are so resilient, and or the flooding came in and it flooded the city, and the people of New Orleans are so resilient. And I thought, what the blank does it matter? We're resilient. That's something that's deep down inside of us. That it's like a funnel, and that funnel goes back into our childhood of survival, of innocence. And when that it's innate in us to be resilient in a survival form, not because there's a select certain people. The people of the world are resilient. It's just it's like a sense of survival. And so it's it's like it's abused for political gains, and I think that's where it bothers me. I understand resilience, but I don't, like in my book, I don't use the word one time. I was resilient uh, against mother because it's something that's so innate.
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate your perspective on this because you're right. We elevate sometimes a trait that we all have. And these traits of resilience are brought out when something, quote, bad happens. Like if a child falls down and skins their knee, then they can show resilience. But the same as like a tornado, but it takes us back to survival, doesn't it? There's a resilience is exhibited when it's like we've kind of lost this sense of order and comfort and peace and convenience, and where everything is just kind of like provided. We have to go to those survival instincts, and God gave us that. Those are I really appreciate your perspective on this. This is awesome.
Well, thank you. But it's like we weaken resilience. So the kid falls down and goes gets his boo-boo, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I get that. I'm not being cold-hearted.
Oh no, we understand. Yeah.
It's like, well, pick yourself up and dust yourself off.
You have the ability to be strong. Like,
that doesn't mean you can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Someone's making it sound too cold.
No, thank you. But it is true. We give a lot of credit to the stories that happen and how we overcame. We give so much credit to the overcoming that we don't realize that that was just a step in the journey, and we were able to handle it because God already gave us all that we needed to do, to get through that. And we're still on our way. We're still moving forward. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, so we've got several people that want to share. Phil, and then Deep T, and then we've got Mary and Betsy as well.
So what came to me was, I've had several conversations with Robert here, and he talks about the innocence of children.
Mm-hmm.
I think innocence and resilience go hand in hand. I think when you realize that you don't have like, you just kind of give up with your own methods, and then you just rely on God. Resilience. And same with children, they'll react to certain things like they're completely innocent. And then, the fact of the matter is that crap happens in your life. It happens to you. And you can either try to solve it on your own and, out of, your education or whatever, or eventually, you just turn to God, and that's when the resilience really, really comes on strong. And you realize that, there's more to life than just whatever it is that caused the loss.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Just letting the love of God in. I think about a child, who, me as a parent did something that caused them pain, or feeling bad inside or whatever. And for them to just always have that love of God, that innocence within them, that they can come back 5 minutes later and they've totally forgotten about it. And I can totally see what you're saying, that connection there. Thank you. Deep T, and then Mary.
So the words that came to me were keep going. And then Wileen, you mentioned the example of a child. If it skins the knee, we do boo boo. And what it does is keep going. It doesn't stop there. It doesn't be stuck there. It just goes and keeps going. And as adults, I think I imagined like a street, if it was like pitch dark and I was stuck there at the darkest part of the street, and at far end, if I could see a light, I wouldn't be stopped at the darkest part of the street. What I would do is, I can see a light, I would move towards the light. So I think that's what we need to apply, that if we are stuck somewhere, it's the absence of light and we have to keep moving towards the light.
Awesome. I can't remember who said it. Maybe somebody knows the author of this quote, that if you're in hell, keep going. Like, get out. Thank you.
General
Um,
MacArthur. General MacArthur.
oh,
Wileen.
thank you.
Yep. When you're going through
Okay.
hell, keep going. And
Awesome. I
that's kind of
love
my
that.
motto
Thank
in
you.
life.
Thank you. Laura, since you're unmuted, we'll go ahead and let you share, and then we'll go to Mary.
Okay. You know what occurred to me with this? By the way, I am so incredibly grateful for this topic, for your inspiration, and for all the perspectives here. They've been incredible for me today.
Good.
So what I see is another thing that can interrupt that playful resilience. And for some reason, I interpret it as playful resilience.
That works.
You know, yeah. So we have the innocence and we have so many elements of it that preserves it or brings us back to that. But another one is humility. I think that for me, in my experience, when I fall into pride, and pride is anything like, I shouldn't have made that mistake. That's pride.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, just that right there, I shouldn't have made that mistake. That's pride. And that shouldn't have happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Says who?
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm just going to leave that right there,
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really great perspective. Thank you. Mary, and then Betsy.
Yeah, that's interesting because that's what I used to think as a child. Why that shouldn't have happened to me? It's interesting, but I was also thankful for many things that were said already. But when I think of child resilience, I think of the love and trust to recover from unfortunate events, to pick up and trust what life has for you. To embrace new beginnings. It's a new beginning every time that, something unfortunate happens. You have the resilience to just move forward, to pick up and start a new beginning, start all over again, which we do every day. But to start from nothing, to create. It's others who want to remind us of our mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that that occurred when I was growing up. It was like, okay, it's over, but you want to keep telling me how, oh, stupid I am, whatever. But God lets you know that there's that God power in you. He lets you get up and move on and keep going. So that was a hell. You live through hell sometimes in life, and you just keep going. That is so perfect. I just got that right now. It's like, the hell that we sometimes go through, you just keep going, and then you come out of it. And there's that ability to get up and create that source of power within us, that playfulness. I remember being just like squashed down, but then I was just playful the next minute, and in my own little world of playfulness and joy. So I know I said a lot there, but
that's okay. It's really great to remember that this is part of that childlike resilience, is the ability to forget what happened and move on, to continue forward in love and trust, because we as adults have a tendency, if something happened, it's like, well, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to trust that again, or whatever. We create some sort of a limiting belief about the thing that happened, and it really shuts the door on a lot of opportunities if we shut the door on, trust and love and whatever. So I love that, that we can, in the next moment, we can treat every new experience as brand new. We can definitely take the lessons, there's experience and wisdom that comes with, there's wisdom that comes with experience. To make better choices next time, but at the same time, seeing each individual experience as brand new. Beautiful.
Wiley, may I just add this? May I just add that sometimes it is not our mistakes.
True.
Sometimes it's not our mistakes, but regardless, you can just notice it, be with it, and then get out of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Betsy.
So it's so interesting. Several of us have talked about a child that would fall down and get back up, and the resilience. And there's a beautiful story when I had the opportunity and honor to serve in Africa in a remote village. We were building a school. And so there's a huge dirt area, a very remote village, like literally people living in huts if they had one. And one of the medical leaders turned to me and said, Betsy, this little boy cut his knee. Can you go get the medical kit and a Band-Aid and then go clean it up and get a Band-Aid for him? And I was like, oh yeah, of course. And so this cute little boy, he was about 5, really no one in the crowd could speak much English. And so he looked at me and I held out my hand, and they love to hold hands. That's just such a beautiful story of love there in Africa. And you'll see men holding hands, and it's so much love. And he reaches up and holds my hand. And by then there's, 5 or 6 kids gathered. And so I take his hand, and he's kind of holding up his little torn shorts, and you could see that his knee was bleeding. So I walk him over to the bus. I get out the medical kit, and we have to be really careful with blood and things there in Africa and keeping clean. And so I get out the gloves and a couple Kleenexes to wash it, and Band-Aid, and stuff some things in my pocket, and get off the bus and hold his hand. Well, by then there's about 20 kids now that are really interested in what this woman is doing, and holding this little boy. And he's still holding his shorts up and letting his owie, bleed down. And so I hold his hand, and we walk way across the campus to where the water pump is. And we pump water, and I gently wash off his knee. Well, what happens when you try to wash off a sore? It hurts. And so he looks up at me and he's like, "You're hurting me. This is hurting." Like, and couldn't really communicate, but he still trusts me. And I pat it gently, and it still hurts and it's stinging. And then I dry it and I place this Band-Aid on it. Well, they've never seen a Band-Aid. What is a Band-Aid? And he's still holding up his pants like it's bleeding because there's this Band-Aid on his knee. And so I'm trying to tell him to let it be there and let it sit for a day. I mean, I think I tried to wave my arms like the sun setting in the morning. I was just trying to communicate to let it, don't touch it kind of thing. Let it be. And so I'm still holding his hand. And by then there's 80 or 90 kids all around trying to figure out what this woman is doing, what that thing is on his leg. We start to walk across the campus, and we get back to where the work site is. And I look at him, and he has the biggest smile on his face. And somewhere across the campus, he had lost the Band-Aid, taken it off, maybe put it in his pocket, reached down and put dirt on his wound, and he was fine. And I was like, okay, then, and I just realized that the Band-Aid and the cleanliness and the cleaning and the things that hurt him was our way to help mend his wound. But him, with such beautiful childlike faith, just looked up so trusting, even when I was hurting him. And he's like, okay, you know what you're doing. But then later trusted, like, no, this other way works better. This is how we do it here in Africa. And so it was such a beautiful lesson that it's not our way always, and that's okay. But I'll never forget the looking up and trusting during this very long process for me to get all the correct tools and go and get water. And even when it hurt, and he's like, "Why are you hurting me?" And I realized that as a child, that as we become childlike, we look up and we question and we have faith. And sometimes we go with it, and sometimes we realize, like, okay, yeah, this is how we do it, and I'm okay, and I'm really happy doing it my way. And it was just a beautiful lesson, really, of how children are so close to heaven and the circle of life, that when the elderly become childlike again, and they see loved ones right before they pass. And they're again so close to heaven. And what an example for us to be so close to heaven.
Beautiful. Thank you. I was reminded of my daughter who was crossing a field. She had gone to see the horses a couple of houses down, and she was coming back through the alfalfa field, and it was cold. It was probably like, I don't know, October, and she's only like maybe 3. And she lost her shoe, got stuck in the mud because the field had just been watered. So it must have been, either it must have been early spring. So it wasn't October. It was cold anyway. And she lost her shoe. It got stuck in the mud. And I went back to the laundry and I saw this muddy shirt. I mean, it was like ground in mud. And I held it up. And I was like, what the heck? How did this shirt get so muddy? So I went to her and asked her, and she said, my foot got cold. And I was like, what? And then she told me the story of coming across the field, and she lost her shoe and her foot got cold. So she took her shirt off and wrapped it around her foot to make it the rest of the way home so her foot wouldn't be too cold. And it got ground in mud in it. And it made me laugh. And I was like, that's brilliant. That's childlike brilliance right there. And we make it so complicated. We have to go get the Band-Aid and everything. Well, we got some dirt right here. That's childlike brilliance right there. I love it. Okay, we need to move on to our permission process, but I noticed that Deepti's unmuted and Mary still got her hand raised. So if you guys wanted to share something, go ahead.
So I got disconnected before. So the last thing I wanted to add is there's a very famous quote or a proverb called fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Oh,
it basically means that you keep falling, but you just get up and never give up hope and always strive for more, because you should not focus on the reality that's right in front of you, but at the greater vision that, may not be a reality yet. But there is a bigger vision and a bigger mission for all your falls.
I love that. Thank you. Yes, the fall is never the end result. You haven't crossed the finish line just because you fell down. So get up, keep going. Love that.
And while Betsy was speaking about she taping that boy with the Band-Aid, I just realized, sometimes you're like, oh, we are resilient. I am okay. Where deep down, you're not actually okay. So I think reaching out is a very good key thing right here, because problem shared is problem halved.
Beautiful. Thank you. Absolutely. Mary, did you have one last thing you'd like to share before we shift over?
Yeah, my comment was just, isn't it beautiful how that there is more?
Yes.
There's more.
Always. Yes. Thank you. I love that. Until the day that we cross over and meet God face to face, there's more. Just keep getting up. I love that. Thank you. Go ahead and take a deep breath. And we're just going to shift over into our permission process. I'm just feeling the gratitude. I've just got a big smile on my face and just feeling so much gratitude for this new perspective, all these different ways that we can see resilience and how exciting it is to be in a position to be able to use that God-given resilience that is innately part of us. And we can look back over our lives and see how many times we have maybe fallen down and that we're still up, we're still upright, we're still getting up, and how awesome that is. And just in gratitude also, we could consider 2020 as one of those times that we can look back on and see where we had to employ our resilience in a lot of different ways, and that we're all still in gratitude. We're all still grateful for everything that we have. In fact, even more grateful for some things like toilet paper and things like that, clean air to breathe, time together as groups. There's just so many things that we can even gain more gratitude for because of the opportunities that we've had to see what we're made of, to get back into that childlike resilience state that we all have. Go ahead and take one more deep breath. And whatever state you're in right now, whether it is being in a state of darkness where you're seeing that there is light up ahead, but you're still in the darkness, or if you're moving towards the light, or possibly if you are heading into a place where you're going to need to find that resilience, whatever stage of childlike resilience you're in right now, just love it, enjoy it, be grateful for it. Whatever's happening right now, it's not a challenge to God, it's just a step. And we have an opportunity to continue moving forward. We're not done yet. So go ahead and take one more deep breath. Like Mary said, there's more. And what lessons are you learning right now about resilience, about childlike resilience, childlike brilliance? What lessons are you learning, whatever stage you're in right now in this cycle of resilience? What are the lessons that you're learning right now? Just be open for God to kind of open up your awareness and your understanding to be able to see things the way they really are. And what gratitude can you find in the state that you're in right now, in what has happened, where you are now in relation to where you were yesterday or 5 minutes ago? And also, what gratitude can you find in the road ahead? What joy are you anticipating? Enthusiasm that you're employing right now in this moment, in the present, as you're moving forward. Just make some notes of all of the lessons and the understanding, the emotional state that you're changing, you're feeling the resilience in your state change right now, moving from whatever it was before to a state of gratitude, of love, of peace, of order. And what is the limiting belief that is showing up for you as well? Just listen for any limiting beliefs that might be showing up. And as you are identifying any of those limiting beliefs, also feel some gratitude for those, and having the consciousness of these limiting beliefs and knowing that they are part of the journey as well. Limiting beliefs are always an uncovering. It's uncovering a decision that was made in the past, that if we can change that decision, if we can create some new beliefs, that you don't have to experience this again. That this is, these limiting beliefs are presenting themselves right now as a gift to you to help you learn the lessons that you need to learn so that you can continue moving forward and moving beyond, forward and beyond, so you don't have to stay in a cycle. And if you're ready to let go of those limiting beliefs, all you have to do is just give yourself permission by saying yes.
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 Awesome. So go ahead and choose some new beliefs and create some new beliefs that will allow you to break free from these cycles that maybe have been showing up for you in the past consistently. Create some new beliefs that will allow you to break free of these cycles, to quantum leap beyond these experiences so that you don't have to experience them anymore. That you're quantum leaping yourself out of your comfort zone into a place. So like that little boy who was comfortable putting dirt on his sore knee, and that was all that he knew at the time, that we can quantum leap ourselves forward so that science, physical law, God's knowledge can have more of a part in our lives, that we don't have to continue going to the same solutions because it's all we know, that we can actually open ourselves to new solutions, and because we're having new experiences that will be open to new results and new solutions to old problems that will take us out, quantum leap us out of those cycles. Go and take one more deep breath, bring those new beliefs in. And as you're bringing those new beliefs in, allow those new beliefs to become part of your identity, that your DNA is now changed, that if someone asked you who you were, that you would explain who you are in a completely different way today, because you've got these new beliefs that have become part of you. Just bring those new beliefs in. And final question, what is your first act? What is the one most important thing that you could do today as this new person? The new place that you have quantum leaped to, and the new person that you're becoming because these new beliefs have become part of your identity. What is the one most important thing to do today to really anchor in and prove that this is who you are now? What's your inspired shortcut today to give yourself some evidence that this is who you are now, today, from this point forward? And in a moment, I am going to open it up for maybe one or two quick shares because we are at the end of our time. I also want to just offer myself that if anyone is needing some extra support in this, you can reach out to me by going to askwylene.com, and that will take you to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute free mentoring session. askwylene.com. Mary, did you have something you'd like to share?
I do. I am so excited about this. Thank you, Wileen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just really great. My limiting belief was that I have to be a serious adult. Like,
that's so silly.
I know. It's like, you have to be serious. You have to be responsible. You're not responsible if you're playful. And you know what? I am a playful creator. I am joyful and I am laughter. I am enjoying life with a jump and a skip. I'm relaxing and enjoying.
I love it. I love it. Yes,
yeah.
We should all be that way.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm done the other way. I mean, like, you know, I'm sure I have to be responsible and serious at times, but whatever. You could still be that and be fun. And my next step is to go to the store and buy some toys for Christmas.
I love it. I walked up and down the toy aisles like 3 or 4 days ago. It was so fun.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be jacks.
I didn't even buy anything. I just was
marbles. Yeah. I know, but you can just
oh my gosh,
think
they're
of
my favorite.
it, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be complicated games. It's like the fun things.
Yes. I love it. And you know, in the scriptures, it talks about how we have to become like little children to be able to enter God's presence. And so anything that we can do to return to that childlike brilliance, like Colleen was talking about at the very beginning, anything that we can do to get ourselves into that childlike state, then we're welcome in God's presence.
It might make people uncomfortable for a minute, but I think that they'll get used to it and maybe embrace it themselves.
I think people naturally want to do it. I think there's a lot of unhappy people that are all stressed out because they have to be adulting. So I think you're a great person to give people the freedom. Was it Marianne Williamson that says, when you step into your brilliance, you automatically give other people permission to step into theirs. So
my event that I never really got off the ground, the permission to play, I think is going to be back in.
Yes. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Park City, but yeah,
that's
dropped
so
it.
fun.
So thanks.
Okay, cool. Well, we are out of time. I encourage all of you to go to our Breakthrough with Gratitude group and share your thoughts there. I know lots of you have had some amazing transformation here today, and we would love to celebrate with you. So thank you all for being on our call today. We will look forward to being back together tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And thank you for joining us. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WyleenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.